Conversation, baby. Call it Mr. Conversation, baby. They call it Mr. Conversation, baby. Come sit in this hot seat, latest information daily. He the voice of the streets, can't come play so versatile. Trying to keep up, it's gonna take a while. Talk games on wild style. Just
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Mr. Conversation, baby. Come sit in this hot seat, latest information daily. He the voice of the streets, can't compare, so versatile. Try to keep up, it's gonna take a while. Talk games on wild style. Just tune in, let's bring it down. Mr. Conversation, baby. Hey, they call it Mr. Conversation, baby. Hey, hey, they call it Mr. Conversation. Call it Mr. Conversation, baby.
Yo, what up, what up? All right, look. Today, I am podcasting in the studio, doing some solo content. Had a lot of different issues, but we're going to push through. Some of the ladies wasn't able to make it today, so I just went ahead and canceled. But it ended up working out pretty good because turns out Facebook has me banned or something. I can't go live on either one of those platforms right now. So I don't know what's going on, man. I've got 3 pages on that app. None of them I can go live on. My personal page, the Hot Seat with EJ Thomas page, or the Kicking It with Mr. Conversation page. So I don't know. You definitely need to get that straight. So today I am streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So Twitch fam, I haven't been on in a while. I'm back. Appreciate y'all. We're gonna see who all pulls in today. And we got a lot to riff on today. And not a lot of time to do it. I've got a meeting coming up about 8 o'clock. So I'll be on about 30 to 45 minutes. We're gonna see how this goes, y'all. Anyway, I love and I enjoy the comments. So definitely leave some comments there. Now, the first thing I'm going to address, what do I want to address first? You know what? Let's do it like this. We're gonna talk about Gucci in the Breakfast Club interview. All right. That being said, definitely I'm a fan of the Breakfast Club. Watch their shows, listen to it. As a person who does radio, hey, that's what I aspire to be. I aspire to have that type of show. The reason why I like those type of shows is you get your humor, you get your playing around, you get your traditional radio, but you also get some important conversations. And as me going by Mr. Conversation, obviously, that's going to be important to me. Now, there was an important mental health conversation that they had a few days ago, and that was Gucci Mane's Breakfast Club interview, and he was on there with Keisha, his wife. This is the thing. It's very difficult to ascertain exactly what is going on. So all I can do is speak from what I saw. Okay. What I saw was a man who's going through mental illness, right? And his wife is basically saying, hey, he has episodes, right? And what they do is, she says she erases all of his passwords and changes his passwords to make sure that he doesn't do any bullshit, right? She makes sure that he does not make the wrong moves. She's looking at sponsorships. She's looking at money. All right. Gucci has money, but he's not, like Kanye level rich. Kanye can mess up stuff, lose stuff. It always works out to his end. He has money. It's not on the same type of timing. They're not on the same type of level as far as the money that they have. She is looking out according to her, for his best interest. Now, she also said things like she keeps him from making some mistakes. She did say that she waits till that she can tell that he's having episodes. Said he battles with schizophrenia. So that's understandable. From what I'm hearing on the outside looking in, I'm only giving my opinion. If you go and you want to tell people your business on a public platform, then you have to understand that people are going to have their opinions. Now, what other people said about it is, it seems like she's his handler. Now, I don't know about that. This is what I would say. I think that, in my opinion, it seems genuine. And there are times in my life, and I don't suffer from, traditional like mental illness or anything like that. But I've done some dumb shit in my life. And I wish there were people that was there to keep me from doing some of those dumb things. So with that type of situation, you're gonna have to understand that she's doing this for the betterment of him. This is what I feel. I truly, truly, truly feel that way. Right? That's what I feel. I think that Keisha, because you got to think about it, she held him down when he was in jail. There was a story about he gave her some money and she double, tripled it, whatever, when he came back out. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what a great wife, good wife, that's what a helpmate is supposed to do. So she's multiplying your money. She's keeping him from getting in trouble, right? From messing it up. Some might say that, she's doing that to keep her bag straight. But, hey, that's definitely important. So you got to understand that you could lose a lot of money saying the wrong thing in today's day and age. I personally had a show I was supposed to get paid for doing, and I did some stuff at a club, whatever was going a little while, and I had an interview, and literally I was told, like, we can't really work with you because you was moving in a type of way that we don't agree with. You was wilding. So when you take all that into consideration, you've got to understand why she's doing what she's doing. So I want y'all to think about that for a second. Like, it's not just that simple. When people are doing, there needs to be a fail safe, right? Especially when it comes to mental illness. If somebody has mental illness, then you definitely understand. So that's what you got going on. Now, hey, yo, hey, I'm recording, bro. All right, my bad, y'all. All right, so that's Gucci's Breakfast Club interview. Again, I want to repeat, I think that the main thing we need to remember is she is his wife. She's the closest person to him, and it seems like she's been doing a good job. Now, it turns out, I'm always gonna, when I see stuff like that, especially like Wendy Williams situation and Britney Spears situation, stuff like that, I'm always gonna look and I'm gonna pay attention because there are people who take advantage. And I want to acknowledge that point. Gucci seems to be doing pretty well. That's what I want y'all to understand. And don't we all wish that Kanye would have had somebody that told him to sit down and shut up? Told him to chill out sometimes. Some of the things that he's been saying when he gets too extra. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is Mark Lamont Hill on JoeBudden Podcast. All right, as a podcaster myself who's been doing this for some years, I think we need to understand that there's a dynamic between the personalities that you have, right? So for those who don't know, Mark Lamont Hill is a very intelligent man. He's been on CNN, MSNBC, all of those type of shows, programs. But he's also done things like some of those reunion shows. Forgot exactly which one, Basketball Wives, right? So he has a duality about him. And that's what you have to understand. My first point to get to the issue that happened is him and the guy named Flip on the JoeBudden Podcast went back and forth. They got into it because they were saying that there was issues with Mark going behind the scenes. That was, they kind of alluded to it. Mark was going behind the scenes talking about some money stuff, and some things were said, and it was brought out on the podcast. By the way, Joe was being messy. I don't give a damn. I'll tell Joe to his face. Those aren't things, the interdynamics between the individual people on the podcast, that needs to stay, but that's a closed door conversation. All right. And even if you have it with all of them, and that's not something that you bring up on air. We know one of the easiest ways for business deals, friendships to end is about money. It's about money or a bitch when it comes to dudes. And disrespect. Those are the three things. So we got two of them. Because of the money conversation, then some disrespect started coming both ways. Now, one, I want to say this was not the time to have that conversation. But before I get to that, let me go back for a second. Mark is an incredibly intelligent and researched, well-read man. All right? There are people who consider the JoeBudden Podcast to be the type of podcast that is not of a certain echelon when it comes to academia. However, I will say this. I know, from what I see, all of the men that are on there, all of the ladies have some form of intelligence. All right, there's different levels to it. Maybe some don't maybe research certain topics like they might have should. That's another story. You deal with that also. Being on the podcast, we have many people there or multiple people. Some people don't quite study maybe like they should have. And I do think that's a fault of the podcast system because we don't have any checks and balances or way to vet. Once it's out there, especially if you're live, it's out there. So like I'm live right now. So if I say something that's incorrect, it's out there. I can issue a retraction, but that's about all that I can do. So with Mark, I think he's more researched. That he is a true journalist, right? I'm not I'm not trying to disparage anybody's character, but Mark is an actual journalist first. Then now he's doing podcasting. So he might seem a little out of place, but according to the stories, he is one of us also. And we have to realize that us, as far as when you talk about African Americans or Black culture in general, we are not a monolith. We all have so many different things. We are so many different people. So with I didn't check the title. When it comes to Mark Lamont Hill, he's not just your traditional or whatever you want to type guy. He's got many layers to him. Some people only have one layer. Some people are super smart, and that's all they are. They're just in academia. Other people, they're gangsters. Other people, they are like some anime nerds or whatever. We all aren't the same people, and that's what we have to understand. And a guy like him has different levels. Okay, cool, right? That's the part saying positive about him. However, you have to realize with a lot of people who have upper echelon intelligence, they do talk down to others. All right. And I'm telling you this, he has thrown shade on that show many times. Him and Melissa Ford used to get into it back and forth because she used to catch some of the stuff. Now, I do feel that there is a general issue in Black America in that, in academia versus kind of hooddom or whatever. You have to be one or the other. And then people who consider themselves intellectuals, they tend to talk down on people that they don't think. But anybody can read a book. Anybody can research and find out information. Intellectuals tend to be able to assimilate that information, and according to how your public speaking is, they can speak it in a way that sounds more palatable and kind of can massage it, be a little slick. That's the kind of thing that Mark does very, very well. He can hide shade into stuff. So then if you have somebody that's just, more from the streets, when they hear that, they can feel the disrespect or they can see that. It's not about anti-intellectualism. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's about. This is not about, in my opinion, their back and forth was not about a smart person versus a less smart person. All right. There is some back and forth that has been going on behind the scenes, and then that was the space that it erupted at. So when Flip came at him saying, man, you use tricky words and you always appealing to the crowd. Yes, Mark is doing that. He's a very smart businessman. I'm not going to use the word pander, but he does tend to give a softball kind of safe approach on certain things. Now, not politics, but men versus women conversations, some economic things or whatever. I've seen him, I've heard him use some kind of soft stances. And you know what? If that's what's going to get him paid, that's how the brother's choosing to get paid. That's cool. That's how he feels. I'm not mad at him for it. But what I was upset about on Mark's part is that I feel that, one, Joe shouldn't have brought that out in front of everybody. Two, I do think that Mark does throw shade. And I do think Mark feels superior. And in some ways, I mean, he is the most overall, intelligent. Ish is smart. Ish just has to worry about the anger when you're going back and forth. You always got to be careful about being labeled as the angry black man in society. And he comes off kind of strong with that. Flip has some very interesting takes. I don't agree with some of them. I like his hip hop takes. But that's just me. And that's my perspective. Right? So this is a case of, I like the podcast and I like how they put stuff together, because you have to have different people from different walks of life and different opinions on things, or you're going to have a boring show. So I rock with that. Now, the comments was killing me. All right. Y'all be some dick riding ass motherfuckers and y'all get on my nerves with that shit. All that, he's too good for the podcast, and no the fuck he's not. No the fuck he's not. Let's stop that shit. Okay? That is the number one podcast damn near, and has been, as far as views, as far as the topics that they touch, all of that. They can do a lot of different things. I like when Melissa Ford was on there. I'm the new lady. I forgot her name. It's a transition. Cool. I watch this podcast. I don't just consume it as a, the clips. I don't just be dealing with the clip farms and stuff. I actually watch the podcast. So anyway, and y'all be dick riding so hard for your favorite. Both of them, all of them have culpability in this situation. All right? If a man is telling you, do not call me something, all right, you have three choices. You cannot do it. All right? You can continue to do it. Or you can just kind of try to change the subject and move on. It was two bulls. Mark stood up for himself and was like, hey, yo, I ain't no punk. You're not about to keep calling me something. Now, we know what it stemmed from. The argument stemmed from Joe throwing up the money situation, and then they were going back and forth about what was said, and then, he called him a buster. So when Flip called him a buster, he was like, yo, that's enough of that. not gonna keep calling me that. And I agree with Mark. Like, yo, words have consequences. Okay. And when two men, especially, are talking to each other, there's always a low level threat of violence that can potentially have. And so Buddy said, yo, you're not gonna be talking out of mouth like that to me. I agree with him. So once the blow up happened, something else happened. Now everybody was accusing the podcast of basically the JoeBudden Podcast is the end of America and it's dumbing us down and yada, yada, yada. Okay, again, Black America is not a monolith. We talk about a lot of different things. They talk about financial structures, like multiple people on there, business owners, $1 million business owners that don't have anything to do with the podcast. Okay. They talk about politics, which Mark leads because he has the connections and he's been in that realm and he's an interviewer and he's a journalist. So he's going to lead in those conversations. And that's fine. And that's okay. But like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, I get your boy, he got attacked, but he defended himself. Nobody jumped on. But when these other podcasters get on there, you know, like there's issues on all the sides. And it's sometimes your boy Mark can be an asshole. He does throw a lot of shade. Now he's quick with the words and stuff like that, so most people don't want to get into it with him when it comes there. But Flip stood his ground on this one. Did he use the best words to try to articulate his position? No, he didn't. The whole you use tricky words and stuff. Now they done made memes about that and everything. So okay. Now, they have a resolution. They said everything is cool, whatever. You don't know how that went. I'm not gonna go into exactly what it started over, but it's a money issue and things that are said behind the scenes. Okay, because the rest of it's conjecture. I don't know exactly what he said, but I do know that they addressed that it was about some things about money behind the scenes. So, like I said, that's one of the worst ways. A woman, money, or disrespect is what's going, issues and of egos with, especially with men. Those are the three things. So you got 2 out of 3 of them right there. So Mark is a good person on that podcast. He helps take them to another level. He's doing his job. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ish. Shout out to Flip. Shout out to all of them. Obviously Joe. Shout out to Mona. All of them, man. Anybody's ever been on that show, even the old guys from back in the day, man, it's a great podcast. So I don't got to tell y'all to check that out. Their numbers are astronomical. You need to stay here and listen to your boy on the hot seat with EJ Thomas. So, all right, the next topic that we have, right? I've talked about, let's see banners. I did the Gucci's Breakfast Club interview. I did Mark Lamont Hill. All right, cool. Talk about my city, man. Y'all, I'm from Columbus, Georgia, right? Let me talk to you about something. I don't think this is a just my city thing because I've heard this from other people and stuff. So Southern Soul is like the wave right now. Everybody's doing it. Now, because of that, the line dancing, steppers, stuff like that, line steppers, they are in full effect. There's groups just in my city, which, has 200,000 people. I mean, there's 20 different stepper groups right now. Each one of them have anywhere between 20 to 100 people on a roster type stuff. It's just that deep. All right. Literally a tenth of this city is steppers. So I understand that. And it's a great thing. I just interviewed a couple of people a couple of days ago. I was at an event. It's positive at those events. Now, this is my issue, right? My issue is why is it that we are upset about positive shit? People are talking about the club culture and You can't do nothing now. They just dancing all on the floor and going back and forth. When the fuck did that become an issue? Because last time I checked, this since about at least 2015, a little bit before that. Last 10 years, y'all ain't been dancing no more. Y'all don't dance no more. Ain't nobody dancing no more. So now people are actually out here on the dance floor dancing. If you a man and you upset with all them beautiful women that's up there gyrating and moving to the left and moving to the right and shaking that thing, something is wrong with you. Let me let y'all know something. Something is wrong with you. If you mad because some ladies are shaking their behind, and yeah, be some dudes that be out there, dancing with them or whatnot. Cool, cool, cool. But just like any dance floors, a lot of them take two people or involve two people. But you mad at them pretty women out there shaking their tail. Like I tell you, y'all dance all y'all want to. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my corner. I'm going to eat my wings, eat my fries, drink a couple of drinks, and I'm going to mind my business. Because see, your boy missed the conversation. I can't dance like that. I got the little biker shuffle on me. I got a little Cupid slides. But besides that, when they get to all these other ones, the Tamia dance and all these other ones, I can't do none of them. And I'm fine with that. That's what I was told. We talked about this on the radio earlier today. I was told, y'all mad because y'all can't do the dance. When I couldn't do Planet Rock and do the 4-step and all of that. When I couldn't yeet, I ain't get mad because dudes was out there and ladies was out there yeeking. I celebrate them. I was in there, eat that, eat that ass, You know what I'm saying? I'm hyping them up. Y'all won't support nobody or do nothing else for nobody. And that's a big-ass problem. Y'all some haters. And I can't stand y'all. This is a really big problem, man. Y'all worried about people line dancing. Y'all upset. What is it to be upset about? Tell me what is it to be upset about? They line dancing, y'all. Now I done been to many events where there's been some BS. I ain't gonna say many, but I done been to some events where there's been some BS. People fighting for no reason. They shooting. I was at a flag football game. They was out there shooting. But these line stepping things, yeah, it's good. These trail rides, all this stuff, let them do their thing. Now I know y'all not mad about the trail rides. I know what y'all mad about the clubs. But all y'all do is do this. Y'all take these right here and y'all do this the whole time. This all y'all be doing. Y'all boring as hell. So I don't want to hear nothing about it. Leave these folks alone and let them do what they do. All right, last topic I'm going to take for today, all right? We got to talk about this, man. And I'm going to do this one again when I got some other people with me. But I need to know, why the fuck? I really need to know. Why y'all can't handle rejection? And this ain't a man thing. This is a woman and a man thing. Why y'all can't handle rejection? So let me address the easy one first that y'all will listen to. All right, fellas, let me let y'all know. No means no. Covered this before. Right? If she ain't feeling it, get the hell on. Get out the way. Consent matters. Y'all tripping. Consent matters. Okay? She don't want to deal with you. She don't want to talk to you. She don't want whatever with you. Leave her alone. No means no. That's it. I want that to sit for a second. Because that's a big problem some of y'all got. So then it's like, damn. So, all right. So, excuse me, camera had issues. But that really pisses me off. Y'all can't handle rejection. Ladies out here, scared to say no. They're giving y'all numbers because they're scared to say no, hoping that they never see you again. And now y'all cornballs and got caught on by getting the wrong number, so now it's dial me directly. Or now it's send your social media stuff. That's crazy that this is what's being said. This was being told to me, man. Y'all can't handle no. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Now, let me address the ladies. Ladies, every man don't want y'all. I need y'all to understand that. Every man ain't interested in you. Every man don't want you, boo-boo. A little niceness, a little flirtation don't mean he just necessarily trying to get in your draws. Because it goes on the other side too. You turn a woman down, especially if she thinks she looks like a lot better than you or whatnot. Oh man, you all sorts of everything. I had a woman one time say, "You must trying to be my gay best friend." I said, "What the fuck?" Whatever people do in their life, that's their life. But as far as me is concerned, I'm a straight man. But guess what? If I don't want you, I don't want you. I don't have to give you a reason why. You don't need to know if I'm with somebody, not with somebody. It don't. If I don't want you, I don't want you. And it goes the other way too, because there's a lot of y'all women that can't take rejection either. Man be all sorts of name when he don't want you. So I want you to think about that the next time, you know, a man don't move the way that you trying to get him to move anyway. So I'm just gonna leave off on that, man. I wasn't gonna talk y'all to death today. The ladies couldn't come today, some of them, but we was pushing, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If y'all got any comments, man, I seen it always happen. A few people pull in, so get ready to leave, man. You know, y'all leave a couple of comments for your boy, man. Let me know that you're here, man. Facebook has me locked out. I don't know what's going on. So I'm streaming through Twitch and YouTube right now. So hopefully I got enough for the clips. Y'all make sure y'all just treat people right. Treat people how you want to be treated, y'all. All right, I'm out.